After our ship crashed in the middle of the ocean, we had to find a way. We would not be saved, so we had to either work together or apart to survive. With our group of players, we must thrive or die. This is Raincraft, Survival Island. Alright, so quick change to that intro. First off, this is no longer actually a multiplayer thing. It is still called Raincraft Island because I can. However, at past day 15, I actually did this solo because people got bored, and I kind of wanted to do it with some mods. So, welcome to solo Raincraft Island. Now, pretty much for those first 15 days, not much happened. You can see here, pretty much, we just kind of messed around, explored the island a lot. And then I built my starter house right here on this island that I found and decided to settle in. Alright, so day 16 was when we started after the multiplayer stuff. I started clearing some trees, because obviously I was going to start building some things. And yeah, I cut and cut some more. There's not really much to it here. I ended up putting these spruce trees down because I thought they would grow, and for some reason they didn't. I would find out later. But anyways, continued cutting down trees, and cutting down more, and cutting down even more. But look at this. A banana. This is why I like mods. Anyways, I realized that cutting stuff down probably wasn't the best, so I started, burning stuff, because that's a lot faster. Look at this. And monkeys, too. Look at that, there's a monkey, right there. Anyways, by this time it was about day 18, and I had pretty much cleared most of the trees out of the way. So I decided it was time to start digging and terraforming some stuff, because, the area wasn't really all that flat. In the middle of terraforming anyways, though, I started hearing this noise, and I went out into the forest and I found a tiger. I was a bit cautious at first, but I started to get near him, and he seemed nice until I kind of nudged him a little bit, and then he stood up and started attacking me, so that was nice. And, I tried my best, but I ended up spending the next couple minutes trying to fight him off and eventually killed him and got all my stuff back. But I decided I was not going to be going out into this forest anymore because that was dangerous. And also, look at this, close call with a zombie, eh? Well, 5 seconds later decided to anger an enderman and apparently forgot that I had a half a heart. Get some food, kid. Anyways, I started building a nice little path up to my base, and then I ended up farming a bit more spruce out of the saplings that I had gotten, and I built an actual farm up above in the air, because I would be needing a lot of it. After this, I started to get a fence ready and pulled out some hose and started tilling the area, only to realize that I needed water, so I went and got some water first. And apparently took a swim with the fishes, because fish are cool. Or I ended up murdering them to get food because I was low. Alright, day 19. Finished all the tilling, built a wheat farm on top, and then fenced in some gazelles. And then this happened. Yep, blew it up. But don't worry, some of them were safe, and I ended up breeding them all back up. Anyways, I ended up farming for a couple of days, and by day 22 I was getting kind of tired of building and farming and all those things, and I had enough meat to begin exploring, so I did that. And I found this island here that I definitely didn't build because I built this entire map, and wow, look at that. It's a nice little bald eagle nest. That's cool. So I went out towards the mountain just past my own island. Anyways, so I found this little dungeon kind of thingy here. It looks like almost a custom jungle temple. So I went inside and immediately blocked myself out because I was hearing some noises in the forest that I didn't like. So after a little while and killing some skeletons, I went down this tunnel and I found this little panel. Now, obviously, this is some kind of jungle temple, so probably one of these switches does something bad. And I know you're going to yell at me that I built this map, but it's been like a month and a half, so I didn't remember what switch did what. I went with the top left one, because that was my first guess, and nothing went wrong, luckily. As you can see here, nothing went wrong, so I just went down the pathway. On my way out, I definitely hit the other switch just to see, but it just dropped some gravel. Didn't really do much. And on my way down, yep, totally forgot there was a trap there, even though I built it myself a while ago. And you can yell at me all you want, but I bridged across because I didn't want to die. There were some spawners back there, I broke the spawners. And then in the loot, there wasn't really too much other than a totem of undying, which I would hold on me on occasion, but never actually ended up using. Alright, and on day 25, I decided to leave and go towards spawn just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I checked the boat there, and then I saw some tigers. And I knew how bad these things were, so I carefully went around, and then I saw a entrance to what looked like a mineshaft, so I went over that way. When I got over there, it was 100% a mineshaft, and I met a little raccoon friend that I punched for some reason, and then he started attacking me, because apparently raccoons attack you. Didn't do much damage though, and then I sadly had to get rid of him. Yeah. Anyways, there was a lot of ore in this cave, so obviously I mined it all, and then found a bunch of diamonds at the bottom, which was pretty sweet. And by the time I got to the bottom of this, I was thirsty for more, and I could use a little bit more diamonds if I'm being totally honest, because I didn't have full diamond tools or really that much armor at all at this point, so I decided to go mining even further down into this cave and just into the naturally generated caves. And I mined all night and ended up getting more. Alright, and then on day 26 I emerged in a water area just outside of my own base actually, so I got in a boat and went home, and I fed the gazelles. As I was feeding the gazelles, I realized I probably needed a way to start filtering them off, because whenever you hit them, they start to move really fast. So I started working on that right after collecting a little bit more spruce that had grown, and then taking down that ugly tower that I had built to farm it. Oh, and after I got all that spruce, I decided to organize my chests, and just look at that. It's beautiful. Anyways, day 27, I bred the gazelles one more time, and then I built a nice little farm area below that had a 1-block gap so that I could hold out some wheat and filter them out. Anyways, immediately after this, on day 28, I began creating a space for a new building. I didn't really know what I wanted to use this building for, but I put up some pillars and I put up some walls. I ended up taking about 2 days to fill in the roof and figuring out what I wanted to design for that, but in the end it ended up looking pretty sweet, and I decided just to have it as somewhat of a decorative house that I'd maybe put some armor stands and things in just for cool looks. But finished up the floor, finished up the roof, finished up a little bit of interior work, and called it done. By day 32, I had finished the house, and I immediately went across to the other side and started digging out another area for another house. Now, this one wasn't going to be exactly a house, it was going to be more of a storage area because I needed a lot more chests, as currently I was running on a single double chest. So I used the same process, put up posts, walls, floors, put up a wall of chests, and then spent a little while on the roof, figuring out what looked best. And afterward, it looked pretty great. And obviously the next step was to start moving a bit of stuff in, so I did that. And by day 36, I had finished the house, and I realized I needed some obsidian because I needed to enchant my gear. I knew it wasn't like gonna be super great because I didn't have a ton of levels, but I figured I may as well try to do it anyways because I've got 50 days on this island, as we know. So I left in search for a volcano because after all, islands are volcanoes, so one of these has to be a volcano somewhere, right? And eventually I was exploring through the forest, and I went up a mountain, and then I found a volcano. Of course, I went to collect a bunch of the lava, got some obsidian, and then continued venturing. And I was just gonna boat home from here, but on my way, I remembered there was an area around here that had been built on by the other players back in those first 15 days. So I found it, and I decided to go in. Now this place was ridiculously packed. Like, look at that. 7 diamond blocks. That's just ridiculously overpowered. So I decided it wouldn't really kind of help with the whole survival aspect of it. I felt like it just kind of ruined the experience. So I actually burned most of these materials and I left. I also burned the enchanting table because I now had enough stuff to make my own, and I wanted to make my own because I wanted to make my own. And then I ended up destroying the chests before I left, actually, and then just burning everything down there. So you have video proof that I didn't steal anything. Alright, and then I returned on day 38, and on my way back in, I realized not only was it dangerous, but it was just kind of annoying to travel through the forest to get back to my base through the sides of the island, so I decided to start working on a pathway to the water. By day 40, I had finished the path, and I had built this cool little tree that goes over the pathway down here. I thought it looked pretty sweet, but this path was going to be super useful, and of course, paths lead to water, and water has to have docks, so I built a nice dock and put some boats on it. And as you can see, it was not very full, so I decided to craft some big old war galleys and things so that I could detail the dock so it actually had more of a purpose. Alright, and then on day 46 I started on my enchantment room because I realized I was running out of days here and I needed to enchant my stuff. So I built a quick little wood and glass dome kind of thing at the top of the hill behind my starter house. And I started enchanting things, and unrelated but necessary, I built a watchtower. And on day 48, I enchanted my gear. And also on day 48, I realized I was pretty powerful now. And I didn't really know what else I wanted to do, but I had heard from the other players on those first 15 days that there was a Viking hut. And I figured Vikings are savages, right? They probably have a lot of cool loot and things. And I may as well go try and do that as somewhat of a final battle. So, on day 48, I ventured off in my big war galley, and I searched. Until at one point, I went up the side of a mountain, and I saw it. The Viking Hut. And, anticlimactic, these guys really aren't that hard to kill, so not that big of a final battle, but I ended up going in and looting, and here we have it. The ultimate weapon. The netherite halberd. You've probably seen these in this mod before. The halberd is powerful, and netherite is the strongest. So I ventured home, and I enchanted stuff as best as I could, but by now it was day 49, and I didn't really have much time, so I finished up as much enchanting as I could in the night, and I displayed all my extra gear around the place. And there we had it. By day 50, I had finished all of my building, I didn't need anything else, and I had protected the area. I had survived the island.